Dr. Ahmad Fouad Anwar, a researcher in Israeli affairs and an Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs member, joins us from Cairo. Welcome to Qnews, sir. Sir, does the shooting of Israeli diplomats in Washington, D.C. indicate a rising anti-Israel sentiment in American society on account of Israel's grave human rights violations in occupied Palestine?
Let's clarify at first that these are from the staff of the embassy, not diplomats. The diplomats were shot yesterday in Jenin, in the West Bank. 30 members of different embassies: China, Russia, Egypt, Belgium, Spain, Italy and Chile. 30 diplomat members in a delegation already obtained the relevant approvals.
Sir, sorry again, I'm going to repeat the question. Placed yesterday. Again, the question, sir, is does the shooting that took place in Washington, D.C. indicate a rising anti-Israel sentiment in American society on account of Israel's grave human rights violations in occupied Palestinian? This is the question I'm asking you, sir, not about the delegation that was shot yesterday.
Yeah, the question was very clear. I'm just making a connection between what happened yesterday and today. Today, the shot people were not the diplomats, they were embassy staff. So what happened makes us doubt that what happened to the dawn of today is a crime to conceal the crime of yesterday, to overlook the shooting incident that the foreign delegation was exposed to after the after the broad condemnation. I think these things are recurrent. The question regarding the United States, there is outrage towards the racist crimes and the starvation place in Gaza, and it's evident that in the wave of protests by the students in US universities, and I think that Netanyahu and Tel Aviv are trying to invest in these incidents and making advantage of these, and maybe even creating them. This place was very secure, and it must have been very planned security wise, as it's an embassy staff and diplomats. It was in the middle in Washington, D.C. and near the Capitol, and there are a lot of questions to be asked. How did this happen, and how did it happen in the same time when the Trump administration started to oppose Netanyahu? They're trying to reconsider and end the war.
Okay, thank you for your kind answer, sir. In what ways does this shooting impact domestic political tensions in Israel, given that some Israeli opposition figures are accused of inciting the Washington, D.C. attack with their anti-war rhetoric, sir?
The Netanyahu policy is always constant, that we have seen the chief of staff of the military is opposing him, the former head of intelligence is opposing him, France, Spain, Turkey are all now opposing Netanyahu policies, and it's unfortunate that there is a US terrorist that who targeted 2 Israeli people. Always who's harmed by this incident is only the Palestinian people. The Israeli delegation now was returned from Doha and stopped the negotiations, and they are continuing the genocide war against the Gaza population. There are double standards here. If we're condemning terrorism, we should condemn all kinds and manifestations of terrorism, and the Israeli government that waged a war on the West Bank before even the 7th of October.
Sir, Israel condemned the attack on its diplomats abroad. Yet its own troops opened fire on a large international diplomatic delegation yesterday in Jenin in a grave transgression that caused global outrage. How do you view the sharp contradictions in this all-odd scene, sir?
This is double standard, and taking one preview at things because these two people who were shot are embassy staff. They are not diplomats, but the world is condemning the murder or the targeting of the 30 member delegation from the different states without any investigation, without any excuses. I think it's getting really tight for Netanyahu and for his government, and there are a lot of reconsiderations taking place inside Israel domestically, in spite of the media campaigns that Netanyahu is promoting, that he's working to release the detainees, to bring back the detainees, and to eliminate Hamas. These are two contradicting objectives, even after the ongoing genocide and the ongoing aggressions.
Israel is taking advantage of the DC attacks to garner sympathy, sir, once more, and discredits European governments who criticize Israeli violations in Gaza. Do you think Israel's endeavors will succeed in this regard, sir?
On the short to medium run, it's unlikely for Israel to succeed in these efforts because they are using previous and former efforts to overlook the British and the Spanish stances towards Israeli aggressions. They cannot be described as anti-Semite or anti-Israel or supporters of Hamas, but the attempts to distort the image only indicate their bankruptcy, and it's high time for the Israeli community. According to my estimates, 70% of them are opposing Netanyahu and his policies, to practice more pressure to take down these people and to bring other politicians who are going to work for the peace of the region, and to nominate Mahmoud Abbas as a legitimate representative of the Palestinians for security coordination and to extend peace.
That was Dr. Ahmad Fouad Anwar from Cairo, a researcher in Israeli affairs and an Egyptian council from Foreign Affairs member. Thank you very much for joining us on Qnews.